Right now, US banks are offering 4, maybe 5% interest on your savings if you're lucky. But I've had an account for the past year in Colombia, which gives me 10% interest. It's completely liquid. It's not a term deposit or anything. I can use it like a normal bank account. And in this video, I'm going to be explaining step by step how you can get an account like that as well. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking that this is some kind of scam or Ponzi scheme because 10% sounds too good to be true. But there's a reason why Colombian banks can offer that, but banks in other countries might not be able to. And I'll be explaining that in this video as well. Before we get started, I should probably say this isn't financial advice. It's just for educational purposes. Always do your own research before making any financial decisions. With that said, let's get into it. So the two bank accounts that I've had for over a year now are called Nu Bank and Lulo Bank. Lulo Bank is a Colombian company and Nu Bank was started in Brazil actually a few years ago, but now it's operating in many other countries across Latin America. These banks are fully digital, meaning that there's no physical branches. You open the account online, you do all the customer support online, everything is completely virtual. These banks are fully licensed and completely regulated as well. So why does 10% interest exist in Colombia but not in other countries? Without getting too much into finance and economics or whatever, it's all in line with inflation. And because the inflation rate is so high here, that's why the interest rate stays in line with that inflation. You can go and do your own research on that if you like, but rest assured there's nothing shady going on. It's just how it operates in these kind of countries. So the major benefits of these type of bank accounts is obviously one, you get the 10% interest rate. Two, as I mentioned before, the accounts are completely liquid. I know that in some other type of bank offerings, you need to actually have your money tied up for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then give you a higher interest rate. But this one is completely liquid. I've been using it for the last year and basically have most of my money in there. And if I need to pay a bill or something, I will just take it out of there and then I will pay the bill with that. And there's no penalties on that and the interest rate's not affected at all. And once you open the bank account, they'll also send you a free debit card to your address. You can use that at Colombian ATMs and use it for local transactions, so you won't be charged any international transaction fees. You can even have the card as part of your digital wallet, and you can just tap and pay with your phone in most places here in Medellin. The downsides of this account is that if you want to transfer the money from, let's say, the US and put it in a Colombian bank, you're going to have to transfer your money to pesos, right? It's okay if you live here and you're spending all your money in pesos, but if you actually want to transfer the money back to US dollars at a later date, then you need to take into account the currency conversion rate. If the Colombian peso devalues a lot against the US dollar, when you transfer it back, you're not going to have as much US dollars as you started with, even if you make a lot of interest. I hope I explained that well, but just rewind and watch that part again. In summary, currency risk. The other downside is not really a downside for me because I like doing it this way, but if you're a bit older, maybe a bit more traditional, there are no actual branches for these banks. So you can't go line up and talk to someone. You have to do everything through the app, through chat. I've done it a couple of times and it's worked really, really well, really efficient. But if you like that in-person, person-to-person, face-to-face contact, then these type of bank accounts are not for you either. Now let's talk about how much can you actually put into the bank account. Well, there's actually no limit, but there's one thing that you need to be aware of. There's a thing called Fogafin, and it's a type of insurance that the Colombian government provides as part of the law that if any bank account or any bank goes bankrupt or becomes insolvent, then your money in that bank account is insured, but only to a certain amount. That amount is 50 million Colombian pesos, which at today's exchange rate is about 12,000 USD. So in the rare instance that something happens to those banks, even though they're very, very well established, and these type of banks never really seem to go bankrupt or insolvent, if you're worried about that, you're insured for up to 12K USD or 50 million Colombian pesos. If you want to put more than that, then that's fine, but just make sure you understand this rule. Now let's talk requirements to open the bank account. The first one is that you need to have a Colombian ID. And the way you get this Colombian ID is that you need to have a long-term visa to stay in the country. Whether that be a digital nomad visa, a marriage visa, a real estate investment visa, you need to have a visa. So once you get the visa, they'll issue you with a Colombian ID. And with that Colombian ID, you can go to one of the websites. I'll link them in the little guide that I have in the description. You go to one of these websites and you can sign up completely online. You just have to provide the number of your Colombian ID. So a couple of things about getting the visa. One major requirement is that you need travel insurance for the entirety of your planned visa. So if you're applying, let's say today, and you're getting a digital nomad visa for a year, you need to show a certificate of insurance that you have travel insurance for that whole year. If you're looking for an insurance to get, the one that I recommend is called Safety Wing. I recommend them because they have absolutely no excess and they cover everything that's required under the visa regulations. They're also the most affordable option on the market. When you bring all those three things together, they're definitely the best option. If you want to get a free quote for the insurance under 30 seconds, click the first link that I left for you in the description and you can get that right now. So back to requirements. Now that you got travel insurance, you got your visa, you got your Colombian ID, the next thing you need is a Colombian phone number. When you sign up on the app, they're going to send you a code to confirm your identity. That code can only be sent to a Colombian phone number. This is pretty easy. You can just go into a Cuatro phone store when you get here and you can get a prepaid SIM card and a Colombian number that way. So now that you got your bank account completely open, you need to fund it. And there's one big caveat with this. You can't fund these bank accounts from an international bank account. So I have an Australian bank account, but I can't send it directly from the Aussie bank account to this Lulo or Nu Bank. What I need to do is send it from my Aussie bank account to Bank Colombia, and then from Bank Colombia to these high interest saving accounts. Why they do it like that, I don't know, but hopefully one day in the future they'll fix it so that you can just transfer straight from international bank accounts, but that's not available yet. So this is the workaround. The requirements for opening the Bank Colombia account are much the same as opening the Lulo and Nu Bank accounts. You need the Colombian ID, you need the visa, etc., etc. But if you contact Bank Colombia via their chat online or go directly to one of the branches, they can give you all the info on exactly how to do that. Once you have the Bank Colombia account open, you need to actually transfer money from your international account to the Bank Colombia. There's plenty of options out there, but the one that I use is called Remitly. They offer really good currency conversion fees, and each transaction has a fixed fee of only $3.50. If you want the link for that too, check the description. So you'll transfer the money from your international bank account using Remitly, and that will go directly to your Bank Colombia account. Usually it takes about 3 to 5 working days. Here's an important bonus tip, and it's a little bit complicated to understand, but I'll try the best I can, so just stay with me, yeah? There's a rule in Colombia called Cuatro por mil, or 4 per 1,000. And how this works is it's a Colombian financial tax, and it charges 0.4% of every outgoing transaction. So if you have your money in a Colombian bank account and you spend it on anything, you'll be charged 0.4%. But you can have one bank account that you can nominate to be free of this tax. I recommend that you nominate your Bank Colombia account to be free of this tax, so that whenever you have the money in your Bank Colombia and you transfer it to your Lulo Bank, you won't be charged this 0.4% fee. If you don't do this, you're going to be charged 0.4% every time you do a transaction in that account. So the best way to do this would be get the money into your Bank Colombia, then transfer it to the Lulo Bank, and then accumulate interest there, Don't use that for any day-to-day transactions. And then once you're ready to take that money out, then you have to pay that 0.4% in the Lulo or Nu Bank account. Guys, I know that's a lot to follow. It's kind of a very complicated process, but trust me, it's not. It was actually pretty easy to set up. If you want the full outline and step-by-step process, then I've left a little guide for you in the description of this video. Just click that and get started.